Pretty good looking buck, Steve.
You know, I was excited. I was here to take a mature buck, and right staring me in the eyes was a big 5x5. Lyndon, I'm going to take it.
It's a tale of two whitetails. One, the hope of redemption for Steve Stoltz's second season try at Nebraska buck. And two, a search for trophy antlers in Alan Treadwell's return to Oklahoma.
All I know is some way or another I've got to get him stopped.
Stop him.
Right here, buck. Right there. I am looking for bigger antlers than that.
Winchester Whitetail Revolution's Steve Stoltz's search for a mature Nebraska buck came up empty-handed last season. But this state is too good to give up on. So he's back on a quest for redemption, this time in the western sandhills. And like Stoltz, western whitetails are also in the cards for Alan Treadwell, as he ventures to Oklahoma, where the hunting's panned out before.
Well, I tell you what, Oklahoma is one of my absolute favorite states to hunt. I love coming over here. It's a state that borders my home state. Last year with Ducks and Bucks Outfitters, I killed a 156-inch deer. I'm gonna have to stop him again. He's running. He has not stopped yet.
Matt! Hey! Hey! Hey!
He's down. Yes, sir. I'm hoping to be able to recreate that this year in a completely different part of the state with Bend to the River Outfitters and Greg Allen. He's got some canyon country, he's got some river bottom. These whitetail love this area. Should be a great hunt.
For Treadwell, there's a confidence in knowing the kind of deer he can take in Oklahoma, but the challenge is still there. For Stoltz, though, Nebraska remains a question mark as he hunts for his first Cornhusker buck.
One of the biggest reasons why I want to down a big whitetail buck in Nebraska is I've never taken a big buck in Nebraska. I had a hunt last year, I was skunked.
I can't take that shot, it's too brushy. There he goes, there he goes.
A lot of things that happened why he wasn't successful the year before. That doesn't mean you quit. That doesn't mean you don't go back. You know, you may go back with another outfitter, but go back and give her another shot.
You're not always going to find success every year, but that doesn't mean you want to just walk away from the state, because Nebraska has some giant bucks.
The state's producing some of the biggest Boone and Crockett whitetails around, both in typical and non-typical categories, including deer that have gone in the all-time top 10 within the last few years. It's no wonder Steve Stoltz is in America's heartland, trying a new location.
Too many people think state is everything. I mean, states are big areas, and with whitetail hunting, you can have lousy hunting in one county and the next county over is good.
Well, some of the advantages of hunting this area here at the Sandhills is it's a high percentage area. You know, a first-time hunter coming here should expect many opportunities at quality animals, or at least seeing them, but some of your shots, they could be 400 yards.
It's not uncommon. So good optics and knowing your scope and your gun very well, very intimately, will help you. That's a little better.
Should be good.
Awesome job.
You know,
Awesome.
you know, no matter how far I travel, I want to shoot that gun to make sure it's on. 100 yards on the money. Shooting a 130 grain Winchester ballistic silver tip, and I know I'm pretty deadly with it out to 400 yards if that shot presents itself. Bingo, 1.5 inches high.
Practice at home, and that's going to allow me to say, can I make that shot at 300 yards? Or maybe I need to let him walk and shoot him at 200 yards. That's called being a mature hunter and a respectable hunter.
I have got to be just about to the top of this where he said that food plot is. Greg had told me at the top of this hill is where he usually has a food plot. With the rain, with the lack of rain, nothing come up.
We've been in a drought for about the last year, Oklahoma as a whole, but in western Oklahoma where we're located, it's been really severe.
On years that there's a severe drought, everything is affected. So you're probably going to see a little bit smaller rack sizes during drought year.
The deer has to bring in excess nutrition to grow those antlers. The first obligation is to his body, his skeletal and muscular structure. So one of the things I think you would see in a mature buck on a drought situation with minimal forage is weak tops. You might start off heavy at the bases, but he'll get weaker on the top. I've seen that before.
You know, what does that mean for you? Not a whole lot, unless you're just thinking, I want to kill a 160, 170 every time I go out. You're there for the adventure. You're there for the hunt. You know, so that's what you're really going for.
There's deer, right there, coming running in. Doe. There's one behind it, another doe. They're running, there could be something chasing them.
We're watching these does. It's not 2 minutes later. Here comes this young buck coming in.
Here comes a buck, here comes a buck. Young 8-pointer. Boy, he's pretty.
I mean, he really put on a show for us, but that deer being 3.5 years old, I wanted to give him a chance to grow up.
Short on the G3s, but he's a pretty buck. What's going on? He's feeling it. I'm gonna mess with him just a little bit. Look at him lip curl. He's lip curling right there.
When you can sit back and watch a deer lip curling, watching them in their element, have no idea that a human's anywhere close to them, and they're doing what deer do, that's pretty cool.
Boy, that is pretty right there. We'll find us a good mature buck somewhere. Greg's got an awesome place here, and it's just a matter of time.
They run right past me. I turn around and look, and I see another buck coming.
Here comes another deer, another buck.
This is him. I can see horns on this one with my naked eye.
Wasn't giving me the right angle for a good ethical shot.
He's chasing her.
Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, and by Redfield, the soul of the American hunter.
That's a beautiful, beautiful 8-point. He's too small to go after, so we're just going to go push on.
Steve Stoltz is seeing deer out of the gate in Nebraska, while in Oklahoma, the drought for Treadwell extends to antlers.
Yeah, we're a couple days into the hunt now. I'm a little concerned. We've seen a lot of little bucks. So, I mean, we just got to get out in the field and keep looking.
When things aren't going their way, especially the second or third day, they start to feel, oh, why, you know, poor me, I'm not killing any deer and I'm not seeing any deer. That's when you hunt harder.
It is true that every day you don't get a deer brings you one day closer to getting a deer. Sounds kind of trite, but it works that way.
Part of whitetail hunting is having the persistence needed. You just have to stay strong, and it can happen on the last day just as good as it can happen on the first day.
In the back of my mind, I keep thinking, back where I went and I seen all those small bucks, I want to get back in there. And every morning I go outside, the wind's wrong. In the last morning of the hunt, the wind shifted and it was right to get back in there.
I know there's got to be some deer down these big wooded draws somewhere. I've seen too much activity this morning. They got to be somewhere.
Hopefully we'll find the one that tickles his fancy and he'll want to harvest.
There's a deer. Doe running down the hill. Here comes another deer running right at us. She's got to have a buck behind her.
And I watch them, they come running right at us. Unfortunately, as soon as I see him, it's a small buck.
Forked horn. Coming right at us. Look, they're going to go past right here.
They run right past me. I turn around and look, and I see another buck coming.
Here comes another deer, another buck, another buck.
This is him. This is him. I can see horns on this one with my naked eye.
Bigger buck. Oh, too young. Well, he's trailing them. It's good to see they're out chasing right now, but if that had been a big buck, that would have been perfect. Just some littler bucks though. All right, I'm gonna move on. There's a lot of smaller bucks in this area.
I'm starting to think that there wasn't a big buck in the area, but I did know there's a hot doe in the area, and that gives me hope. Sometime during that day, you expect a big mature buck to come through there, and I was expecting one to come through.
100 days of drought have definitely hurt Oklahoma antler growth, but the rut's on, so there's always hope, with Stoltz is finding in Nebraska, where the bucks are rutting too.
Well, it's mid-November here in Nebraska, and of course, all over the Midwest, the rut is on, and it's no different out here in the Sandhills. It should be an exciting hunt. So far, it's been an exciting hunt. Those does are just starting to come in, and those bucks are on their feet, big, mature bucks, and they're out trolling, looking for does.
I see the doe, but I don't see him.
Steve's hunt here in the Sandhills with me started out with, with quite a bang. First thing, opening morning of rifle season.
Good or good job? I didn't even put the glasses on him, but he looked solid and strong. He said heavyweight. You know where he's at. You better go.
You got to have your ducks in a row to hunt this ground. Lyndon knows his whitetails. He's had them patterned for quite a while. He knows where these big bucks are traveling, and I can't say enough about that.
There he goes.
Someone who knows the value of knowing the deer's home ground is David Morris. on this episode's Tecumseh Trophy Tip.
I'm David Morris. Today, more and more whitetail hunters are traveling to hunt. In a lot of cases, they're going there after big bucks that they may not have where they live. But if you're going to a new area that you've never hunted before, you're wise to hire a guide. If you're going to make the investment of time and travel, you need to be going somewhere where somebody there knows what the heck's going on. If you're spending all your time trying to figure out where to go and what the whitetails are doing, you're wasting valuable hunting time. This is where a guide comes in. He's already done the scouting, he's familiar with the property, he knows what the deer patterns are there. He's prepared the way. Hire a guide, and it'll greatly increase your chance of going home with that trophy deer that you've invested that time and energy to go after.
Yeah, brother.
I'm David Morris. I'll see you next time on Tecumseh Trophy Tips.
To continue this and other conversations with David, go to tecumseh.com.
There she goes.
As luck would have it, the doe got stirred up.
Get ready. Get ready. All right. Wait, hold it.
I don't have a shot at him there. He got us within 100 yards of that buck. I had the crosshairs on him.
Oh, straight away from you, straight away.
I got my crosshairs on him.
He's chasing her.
Can't stop him.
Hold it. Got a sight.
As always, the buck followed her right on out of there with no shot presentation.
I just couldn't pull the trigger. He wasn't giving me the right angle for a good ethical shot, so we had to let him go. I mean, when he first got up, I had just a split second I could have pulled the trigger, but he was still moving a little bit. And when he stopped, then he turned straight away. I didn't have a shot. And he's a good buck.
It's a great deer.
Yeah. Well, here it is halfway through the first day of the hunt, and we've already almost pulled a trigger on a great whitetail.
All I know is some way or another, I've got to get him stopped.
Stop him.
He's a good buck.
It's a great deer.
Yeah. I want to keep after him.
But we'll give him a little bit of time. Hopefully we can catch him over a couple of ridges, all right?
Okay.
After passing on a young buck last year, Whitetail Revolution Steve Stoltz is back in Nebraska with veteran Sandhills guide Lyndon Branson.
Let's hold up here and watch this for a little while.
Watch this for a while. Well, maybe we'll see that big buck I almost got a shot at earlier. The bucks are out, and some are already bumping around chasing does. So the rut's in full swing out here. He said definitely bring your rattling antlers and grunt call, and that's right up my alley. All right. I think it's so windy, I don't think there's that sound. The wind's picking up even more and more.
Look on the horizon up there.
Oh, I'll be.
It's a mule deer.
I think I rattled him in.
You must have.
That usually only happens with whitetails. I've never heard of rattling a mule deer buck, but it happened. I'm after a whitetail now. My next trip might be mule deer. I don't know.
That's awesome. Well, let's just sit here and watch for a while because whitetails will come traveling through here down to that where they bed in those willows down there.
And Lyndon knows this ground like the back of his hand. He grew up out here. If he sees a whitetail moving and going a certain direction, he's going to know just exactly how to get on it.
On the Nebraska prairies, Stoltz and Branson have to take their time with spotting and stalking to stay hidden. While in Oklahoma, Alan Treadwell with Bend of the River Outfitters has more cover for more aggressive tactics.
Well, Oklahoma's a perfect state to go out where you can look and we call it running and gunning, making things happen instead of being stuck in a tree stand or a box blind or a pop-up blind. We can make things happen sometimes if we're on the ground.
The South Canadian River has cottonwood bottom. You can walk the ridges and brush up in the shinnery oak, be able to spot the bucks. They'll run that river looking for does. I just think it's going to be a really good place to do a spot and stalk type hunt.
Here comes another deer, another little buck. Good gracious, another little one-horn spike. There are little bucks everywhere in here. I feel like I'm hunting in the nursery. It's where all the little bucks grow up, I guess. You'd think there'd be a big one in here, though. I'm gonna have to move a little further, get out of the nursery.
With all the little bucks, I'm starting to think the big bucks are locked down. We're not gonna see a mature deer. But I did know that the longer I spent in there, my odds of success were only gonna go up.
There's a deer. Buck, big buck, right there. Right there. Walking down the edge.
He's going away from us, and I don't know if I have spooked him coming over the ridge or if he's dogging a doe that's already been through that I haven't seen. I have no idea. All I know is some way or another I've got to get him stopped.
Stop him.
down right there. Woo, what a hunt, what a hunt. When that 130 grain Winchester ballistic tip hit him right in the shoulder, he didn't move a muscle. He went straight down. That's the kind of track job I like. Look at this buck right here. Can you believe how wide that thing is? Holy smokes. He's a little short on the time length, but all that has to do with the drought. It was the exact caliber of buck that we needed to kill with the conditions that were faced us.
There are a lot of different feelings of accomplishment. Sometimes it can come by the size of the rack, but there are other times that just the sense of knowing that your persistence, your patience has paid off, that is the ultimate feeling of accomplishment.
You know, I was growing up as a boy, you know, especially in Pennsylvania. We never had big racks, you know. We had deer racks, you know. We went out and we hunted together, we ate together, we told stories together. That's what deer hunting is about.
Learn to experience the whole thing and just appreciate why you're out there. You can't lose when you're deer hunting if you've got that attitude.
Come on in here, man. What do you think?
All right.
White old dude, isn't he?
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, we have hunted hard for this old guy. If there's one thing that this hunt teaches us, it's to be persistent. It's to be diligent. We put everything we had into it, and it ended up a success.
This is all about making our hunters happy, and I could tell by the look on his face that he was pleased.
Right staring me in the eyes was a big 5x5.
Lyndon, I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take him. Are you ready?
Whenever you are, Steve.
Okay, here goes.
Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, and by Redfield, the soul of the American hunter.
We're all loaded up. Where are we going down?
Down here and go down around the corner. Maybe we'll find a whitetail.
Okay,
down there.
all right.
Whitetail action's heating up for hunter Steve Stoltz on his second Nebraska adventure.
Well, for the rest of the day, the game plan Lyndon had in mind after lunch was to just get back out there and try and get a shooter located where he's been seeing a lot of good bucks.
And so I told Steve, I said, let's, instead of busting in there with our truck, let's stop back here and we'll just walk in there slow. If there's something in the area, maybe we won't push it out quite as bad as if we were in the truck.
I've been seeing some pretty good deer up here under the corner. Let's see if we can find something here this evening.
Well, let's slip on down here and we've only got about another probably 30-40 minutes before we get started.
Well, we got down to the meadow, and sure as heck, there was a big deer already out there. And Lyndon said, hey, big buck.
Steve, hold it. Right there. Right out there ahead of us.
I see antlers.
That's,
I see antlers out there.
that is. I think it's a mule deer, though, right?
Can we get a little closer?
Yeah, well, I think we can.
And we started to make a move on it and then soon realized that it was a pretty mature mule deer.
I'm on a whitetail hunt, but
That's a great deer, though.
well, they're coming down the field like you said, so.
It's that magic time of day.
And just about that time, I look to my right and I see a big 10-point.
Wait, right here, right here. That's a good buck, I think. That's a good buck, Lyndon.
It's the whitetail coming down, isn't it?
That's a good buck, Lyndon, you think? He's chasing a doe.
He's not that good, Steve.
What? I think he's a big 5x5. I think he's a shooter.
And Lyndon threw his glasses up and he's like, I don't know if that's a shooter or not. And I don't think he saw the tall G3s on that buck.
Steve kept telling me that, no, I think it is, and that's a deer that I would really like to take.
Let me get a better look. I'm going to go over here and brace my glasses
Okay,
on the thing.
all right. He's not going anywhere. He's chasing a doe. He's bumping that doe around.
After I was finally able to get some better light on the antlers, I did agree with Steve that it was a mature deer.
Well, that's a pretty good looking buck, Steve. What's your call? You want that buck?
Lyndon, I think he's a good buck. I really do.
Of course, he didn't have to tell me twice. I got my Winchester 30-06 Model 70 up and I was ready for action. I like him.
He's right there pushing that doe. Look at him.
They're kind of getting further away though. He's 220 right now. I'm gonna turn my head around. It's getting in the way. He's getting further away. I don't have a shot right now.
We were losing light and it was getting urgent that we try to get this shot.
That kind of made me nervous, but I had my trusty Redfield rangefinder, and when he finally stopped where I could get a good shot, he was 254 yards. It was time to make the shot.
Lyndon, I'm gonna take him. I'm gonna take him. Are you ready?
Whenever you are, Steve.
Okay, here goes.
Yes!
He's down. You hit him hard.
He's down.
He's down, Steve.
Well, there's no doubt that XP 380 grain did its job. I put the smack down on that buck. He went down within 50 yards of where I hit him. Lyndon did a wonderful job getting us on the whitetails.
I get more satisfaction from guiding than even hunting myself. And I've enjoyed every minute of every hunt with every person.
Unbelievable, big 5x5, big tall G3s, that's what I saw. I knew he was a shooter then.
Exactly, wow.
He's big.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you. Redemption, baby. Redemption.
It was time for some celebration. We high-fived, and it was a great event for Steve, and it was a lot of fun to be with Steve to put this deer in front of him.
2-year quest for a Nebraska trophy whitetail was over. Big 5x5 trophy whitetail. Finally, redemption.
So you didn't get your deer last year. When that happens and then the next year you do get your deer, you're thinking, all right, this kind of makes up for all the work I put in the year before. And that's another reason to persevere and stick to it.
We got our buck down the first day, but we had one of the most incredible days in the whitetail woods that I've ever had. Awesome buck.
Great deer, Steve, for the Sandhill.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Wow, awesome.
Wow.